Dean Brazier is the Chief Executive of Secure Data. Dean, I was hoping that you'd be able to give Byron Kennedy a bit of a rib here. You went to Benoni High, he went to Germiston High, but you say the schools are kind of on a par.
I don't think we ever beat them at anything, so
oh well,
we wouldn't be able to.
Pity about that, but I'm sure Byron's happy. ERP.com is a company that was very highly rated amongst institutional investors. When did it become Secure Data?
Well, the process started around 2 and a bit years ago. We took a strategic review of the company, had a look at the business we were in, and tried to look at where the future of the business could be. We could see a slowdown coming. We'd had some problems in our ERP business. We really decided that our Secure Data subsidiary of ERP.com was the business that could grow, could show a very strong profit, good profits, and had a size in the market that made it influential in the market that it played in. So we started the process of disposing of all the other businesses, and that process really completed about 15 months ago in December 2006 now. We obviously had to apply to the JSE, and the actual name change took place in June last year.
Your stock's been under pressure. It's fallen 35% since October last year. Is it perhaps ignorance on behalf of investors? They don't really know what's going on. You're on a price-earnings ratio of 8, which for an IT company is poorly rated.
Sure. Especially if you look at the results we've just produced. I think there are two issues. I think the market, besides Pine's company, the market generally is down. I mean, there are industrial stocks out at the moment who are 50% down on the highs over the last year, etc. So I think the market generally is down. And, a smallish IT stock is always vulnerable to market sentiment. Secondly, I think our last set of results was the last set of results we would still have the overhang from the disposals of the businesses. And if you remember, we lost quite a considerable amount of money in the disposals. The set of results we produced yesterday would be the first set of results where the disposals are now not reflected in there. We're not tainted any longer with the results. So, yes, it has been under pressure. I think part of that is market.
Have your institutions stayed with you?
All of the major institutions have stayed with us, all of our major investors, which include a significant number of hedge funds and private equity companies. I think also, being a small cap or a small company with quite a limited share pool, all of our significant investors have stayed with us, but the guys on the periphery perhaps are prepared to get out easier if they want to get out today or get a bit nervous. But we haven't lost any major investors.
Dean, what about dividends? When might you start paying dividends again? It's been you skipped a year.
We skipped a year, and the reason being we'd sort of lost 20 million rand in the disposal of businesses in trying to get down to the core business that we wanted. We skipped last year, and we would always look to paying dividends. We have made an announcement early on this year to say that we are looking at a transaction in the UK to buy a UK-based IT security company. Obviously, if that transaction came off, be a sizable transaction for a company our size, around 200 million rand. If that would come off, then we would probably not pay dividends for another year or two while we pay down the debt on the acquisition. But we believe the acquisition is in shareholders' interest, and it'll give us a long-term cash flow rather than just paying a dividend.
You sold some shares in June last year. 580,000?
Small number, yeah. I sold 580,000
at R1.97, which is good compared to the current 140 share price. But why sell in your own business?
I had a bit of debt I wanted to pay down. Obviously the shares.
How many have you got back? How many do you still hold?
I still hold 9 million shares in the
9 million.
2 million options. I sold because I could see that we weren't going to pay a dividend, and as you'd expect on 9 million shares, a dividend is quite a large income for me, and so I could see that I was going to be a bit short on my commitments. I sold the shares just to pay off some debt.
The good numbers that you've come out with here, still a strong margin, 19% for a tech company. It shows that you aren't a box stopper.
No, we are a high-value service provider in a very specialized market, an IT security and information risk management market.
Which is what exactly?
It is primarily information security. So in layman's terms, antivirus, firewalls, intrusion prevention systems that stop people hacking in, systems that stop people from doing phishing, internal threat systems, including people sort of taking stuff onto a flash disk and walking out the door with all your information as a company. So we provide products and services as well as high-end consulting services to help companies address the risk, to mitigate the risk, and to put defenses in.
What kind of companies? What is your client list?
Primarily corporates. If you look at the top 200-300 companies in the country, entities, including government entities, we probably do business in one form or another. Not all major customers, but we do business with all of them in one form or another. Major banks, obviously the typical markets would be major banks, major telcos, etc. right down to the SME market. So we really have a very broad customer base.
You gave guidance in February in your trading statement that profits this is for the 6 months to end January would be up between 25 and 30%. It came in just below 30%. And for the year as a whole, likely to repeat?
We are confident that we can continue that, excluding any acquisitions. So assuming we don't make any acquisitions, we believe that we can deliver 25 to 30% for the full year.
And you've digested the 2 acquisitions that you made in this period?
We have. They were relatively small. We bought them primarily to get into niche specialist markets that we were not in, primarily SensePost to get into the very high end of the consulting business. These guys are guys who consult to major corporates worldwide on exactly how to implement the security, etc. And we brought them in because that's easier to get than to try and build. But the acquisitions, if you look at the basis of 112 million in turnover for the 6 months, the acquisitions only accounted for 18 million of that. So we're still showing very strong organic growth out of our core business, which is the old secure data.
Your market cap is quite a long way below 300 million.
Sure.
You're looking at a 220 million roughly acquisition in the UK, depending I suppose on where the pound and the rand are at any point in time. That's a huge jump.
It is. There are a number of areas around it. First of all, when we started, the market cap was somewhat better. The market has taken some strain. This has been in process since around September last year, negotiations with the UK company, trying to formulate a way that we can do this, we can do it sensibly.
Has the pound strength against the rand?
The pound has strengthened. We had permission from the Reserve Bank to hedge a considerable amount of it, about 75%, which we have done. So we are well hedged.
So if the deal falls down, you're looking at a big profit.
If the deal falls down, I won't be taking any losses on the transaction cost of the deal.
So when will you have finality on that transaction?
We expect at the latest the end of May. The process has taken longer than we expected. It has been somewhat more complex, and there's all kinds of reasons about the structure of the business overseas and some other areas. It has taken longer, plus obviously JSE and local Companies Act regulations. So we expect that by the end of May at the absolute latest, which is another 10 weeks out, we would think 6 to 8 weeks, but we're giving it time till the end of May.
An enterprise transforming transaction, perhaps with Secure Data. ERP.com, you remember that company, now called Secure Data, and the big international acquisition, which is, worth about 2/3 of the existing, not 2/3, nearly the whole of the existing market cap for this business. And I suppose the good news there is that it has been hedged in pounds versus rand. So even if the deal falls away, you know what's happened to the rand against the pound lately, that'll give Secure Data a big push in its profits for this year. That's all from Power Lunch, which is brought to you in association with Money.